promised before the break, we're sitting down to talk about fencing in Belize. That's right. Joining us for this conversation, we have representatives from Tino Fencing Club. We have Coach Frank McKenzie. We have Leon Gill. And we also have Coach Kenroy Lopez. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Now, fencing. Let's start there. What prompted this, the development of a fencing club in Belize in the first place?
Well, about 10 years ago, you have this FIA, Fencing International Screamer. That's the body of fencing in the world. And they were reaching out for fair play, and they asked the Olympic to send somebody to learn fencing. And I was the one chosen to go to Salvador with all the Caribbean countries and Central American to learn the sports of fencing.
And did you have an interest in fencing before?
Well, I've seen fencing in Argentina and Brazil.
Yeah.
So I have a great interest, but it was a sport where it was beyond, because it's a European sports. It was not in this country, in this region of the world.
So that was essentially the inception of the fencing club in Belize.
Sure, that's the beginning.
And when you returned from your training, what was it like recruiting people to learn fencing?
Well, when I came back, like fencing, like it was like the idea of the swords was like fencing. It was amazing that nobody didn't know what's fencing. But in Europe, it's like the #1 sport. Everybody like into it. And it was strange that even the Caribbean country that was involved was like fencing. But we don't get nobody to fencing.
What was the recruitment like once you got back? Having been exposed to it and you got back in the country, what did you try to do? Did you try to get other people? And how did you keep your skill up?
Well, every year the FIA have courses that they keep training you, so we are always up to date with it. But when I came back, I tried as much as possible to. I went into clubs, those karate clubs, and because fencing and karate is like really the same, so I went back.
Really?
Yeah, it's the same sports. It's the same idea of aggressive,
type of techniques.
Right, techniques.
Well, who else would be better to tell us than Sensei himself, who is now also here as a fencer. So Leon, tell us about how you got involved in fencing.
Well, as you know, Frank McKenzie is my karate coach, so that explains everything.
You didn't have a choice?
I really didn't have a choice. Wherever I tend to be one of his loyal supporters, so wherever you see him, I'm not going to be too far behind, because he has, proven himself to me to be somebody trustworthy for me to put my confidence in, and he's about sports and youths and, just all around development and representation for Belize, and I'm about the same thing, so.
Okay. And so what was your experience with fencing once you first tried it?
It was, once you're in a discipline for a while, it's hard to start over, because then you have to go through the phase of getting shouted at again. And
rigorous training.
You have to go through that again. But I was already accustomed to his methods from karate, and then since he did these courses in fencing, and he did some coach training as well, so he started tuning down. Tuning himself down. And so we have a better rapport, and all of us, we communicate better. Even Coach Lopez here next to me. But it was difficult in the beginning, because you have to get used to a different posture. Everything is posturing. We have to get used to the posture exists in karate, like Coach says, that they're similar, but we don't use it so often. And in fencing, it's like everything, just that one posture. So it was getting accustomed to that, and getting accustomed to only using your right hand. So this muscle gets fatigued, and but once you get through the initial 2 weeks, it's And then I realized that I'm not escaping Frank McKenzie because he's calling me all the time. You know, I have to do it, so I might as well start liking it.
How long you've been doing it?
I wasn't even counting about.
When I came back, he's the one
Oh, he was one of the
he was
first
my
recruits.
training partner, right?
Yeah, I was his.
So
I was his dummy. His
Guinea
test
pig?
dummy.
You were the guinea pig?
I started with him, but I wasn't. I haven't been jamming 10 years straight. I started an initial 2 years with him. Then I get busy with karate and different things. Then I go back and, But for the
Did
last
you like
3
it
years,
from the onset?
I'm always a fan of edge tools with blades and piercing ability. So,
truly.
right. Really, there are 3 swords in fencing, and my favorite is the third, the saber. And I was a little bit upset because he never wanted to. That was the last one that he started teaching, and it's the one with the most, options, and I like options. So I was a little bit upset at first, but then once you get to the saber, you realize that it was necessary to go through the first 2 swords.
Before.
Then when you get to the saber, it's, you have a proper basic.
And Kenroy, let's talk about how did you get involved in fencing?
Same thing. I've been in karate for many years. Sensei has always been my coach also. And he brought the idea to me. He said, Pharaoh, fencing, man. I said, what? Fencing? For real? Right here? I could do it then. And from then I've been doing it.
And the transition from karate to fencing, what was that like for you?
It was like a walk in the park because same discipline, you understand? But different with karate, you use both hands, both legs. With fencing, it's just your right side.
Okay.
You understand? Just right attack.
Okay.
If you're left hand, you have to be.
You'll do
If
left,
you're left hand,
yeah.
you have to do left, yes.
Now, you are now a coach, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you are teaching other persons how to fence now. What is it like when people come in wanting to learn how to fence? What is the perception that they have versus the reality of learning to fence?
Okay, a lot of people watch TV and they see fencing and they think it's all flashing light first, right?
Yeah.
First thing you'll get up on the floor and cling, cling, cling and start fence with everybody, right? But you have to go through basic, right? And when a student first start, you can't put a sword in a student hand, right? They have to use their hand, they have to learn their hand,
Okay.
right? And whatever your hand does, the sword will do.
I mean, I think as kids, everybody played sword fights, right?
Yeah.
With what,
All of us.
stick, with whatever you could find. And that's why I asked about the perception, because I imagine that people want to come in and get into it immediately. What are some of the basic techniques to somebody who's a good fencer?
A good fencer.
What are basic techniques?
Where do you start?
Fencing is like you're playing chess, right? You know that if I come forward with maybe a hit, you'll probably block inside, right? So I'm playing game that if I put my hand to, you block, then I do a reverse on it. So it's like playing game, like playing chess, right? But the coach here have been to Central American game,
Yeah.
and he have competed in Guatemala. So he have good experience over the whole group.
How mental is it? Because people look at it and it seems very physical, but at the same time, you can tell that it's very strategic in terms of the approach. And for me, it has a certain amount of, I guess it's a grace and an ease to it when you see competitors, that it looks almost as if though it's choreographed. Is it?
Yes, that's correct. Because when you fence, with fencing, it's not strength, it's technique. And you have to think, you understand? You have to set up the person so you could get an attack. Your mistake will be his point. His mistake will be your point, all right?
Because the technique is like, all of us learn the same technique, but the one that practice hard is the one that see the technique before. It's like vision and technique that.
So you have to have a good read on your opponent.
Yes,
Right.
yes, that's correct.
Okay. That's part of your skill set that you
That's
need
part
to
of
be
your
able to do.
skills. You have to use mind. You have to use you have to psych out the person.
And
set
anticipate
him
what
up.
their next move
Yes.
will be.
Right.
That's your
Possibility.
chess relation that
Correct.
you
That's
talk
correct.
about.
Yes.
What has it been like competing? You compete on behalf of Belize,
Yes,
which obviously probably hasn't been promoted enough. But what has it been like stepping out, representing the country in a very unknown sport here?
It was rushing at first. My first competition was in Guatemala in 2013. I went to Guatemala and I was the only person who represented Belize, and everybody like, Belize? Belize, you know? And a lot of people glad to see Belize at these things, you understand? And my other competition was in Veracruz. This was in 2014. And I got a yellow card because I bought a brand new socks, right? And when I walk out onto the floor, my socks start to shrink. Right? My socks move from my knee all the way down.
It's supposed to be fully covered.
Yes, it's supposed to be fully covered. And as I step out, the ref showed me the yellow card. And everybody's like, oh, you know. So it's, you know.
Learning
It was
experience.
a learning experience, yes.
Nice.
So, what has recruitment been like outside of people who already are involved with karate?
It's kind of slow because we are running into that people that know what is fencing.
Yeah.
So it's like we are teaching, we are trying to get the media, everybody involved that it's a sport, it's safe,
Yeah.
and it's a loving, beautiful sport.
Do you train
So-
children?
We train kids.
Okay.
I know in Belmopan, some people were trying to establish a club in Belmopan. Is this the only club that you know of?
No, we have 4 clubs.
Okay.
We have Belmopan clubs, we got Kaya
So they-
clubs, and Corazal clubs.
And they're all tied to karate.
They are tied closer to karate, but we have new peoples.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, how difficult is it to be able to learn, especially if somebody has not had a karate background and wants to venture into fencing? What do you say are some of perhaps the challenges or techniques that you'll have to learn, and also the benefits that you've witnessed for yourself?
It's not really challenging. You start out with basic, you start out with footworks. You understand? So it's not something that's hard.
But you have to be coordinated.
You have to be coordinated, yes.
A good dancer makes a good fencer.
That's right.
Good dance.
There you go, William. You'll be a great fencer.
A good dance.
It looks like dancing whenever I look at it, you know? It really
The
does.
coordination part marks me out, but personal benefits for you, as especially since you all have had experience in martial arts. What would you say are benefits that you've had specifically due to fencing?
Benefits? But the FIA is the body, right? They have all kind of benefit for education, for any part of studies you want, they offer that, right? So being a good fencer, they give you a reward, right? And the FIA is the one that supply us with the
Is it costly for the equipment that you need?
because fencing was so high prices that it was hard for, like the uniform is like 500, you're looking at the swords are like 100, but FA provide these. FA provide these to help developed countries and developed countries to compete, because they are Olympic sports. All Olympic sports have to have a fair play, and fair play, if they want to go forward, they have to have all countries to develop, to get to the level of the sports.
So no new skill sets associated with fencing? More strategic thinking, better posture, I don't know.
So,
Well, because we come from a martial art background already, you know, we're quite familiar with posturing and everything. But for me, again, because of the karate background, I like it because it's moving me away from all the battering of karate and judo. So it's low impact. So you find that people way up in the 60s and 70s can still compete.
a woman like me.
I don't want to do that.
Okay.
Right, it's low impact. So for me, I'm stepping out of you know, that.
Yeah,
that,
so
you know,
the
that
body,
take
the
place,
body
right.
impact that you
Right.
had with all the throwing from judo.
Right,
And,
so that's, you know, it's safer for me, it's healthier for me and people my age and older and more mature, let me say, more mature.
Yeah.
You know, but besides that, it's cardio, you know, you still get to keep your muscles toned, you know, flexibility, your focus is like it's therapy,
okay.
you know.
Oh, I am just waiting to see a demonstration now.
That's what we're getting ready for. So, Coach Lopez, tell us what we're going to see.
We're gonna do some steps, some strikes, block strikes, some attacks, and I'm gonna do a couple demonstrations with Sensei Leon, right? With saber, he loves saber. That's his sword.
Yeah.
Right.
And since they don't have microphones, can you introduce us to who's going to be participating in the demonstration?
All right, we have Jaheim Hope, we have
Come in
Tuan
the middle,
Cord,
yeah.
Jane Hope have won, we had a competition in February, and he's the junior champion.
Ah. So Jaheim, and then in
Step
the middle,
forward, Jane.
Jane, he's the champion with the
junior champ.
junior champ.
junior champions.
Okay.
Then Card,
Then you
He's a
have
senior.
Tuan Cord, he's a senior champion.
and Christian Hope
And then
is the,
Christian Hope.
was the runner-up in the that
He was
division.
runner-up.
Okay. Well, let's get into our demonstration then. You guys can
Okay,
step
good.
right over, and we'll watch from a safe distance.
Sure.
And just Frank, in terms of where you're located, in case people are interested in signing up.
Leave it. It's a nice location. It's
Yeah.
not
Right
the
here
best.
on.
Okay. Yeah, there's a sign there that
Yeah,
says
that's a
Fencing Club.
sign.
So it's the Old Set Building.
Both set
Yeah. All right, great. So if you're interested in trying out something new or learning more about fencing, of course, Tino's Fencing Club is on the second floor at the Old Set Building on St. Thomas Street in Belize City. Right, we're gonna have our demonstration now. So guys, go ahead. Coach, sorry.
That's a foil sword. You have different rules. If you
Yeah.
look at the internet,
The sword?
the sword, right?
Yeah. Okay, so that's the first sword,
That's a foil sword.
a forward sword, and
Foil. A foil.
foil.
Sword.
Okay,
The second one, epi. That's an epi sword.
epi sword. Okay.
Epi mean in French sword.
Okay.
Then Mr. Gill have the saber sword. Saber you see most of the time in military, they salute, but
Yeah.
it's a way that they attack.
Yeah.
And all these swords come from different countries. They were like, that's a French, that's an Italian, and that's a Hungarian.
And we see Leon got the one that he likes the
He
most,
loves
the
that.
saber.
It's a slashing like Zorro. I mean, say
Yeah.
that's
Actually, we heard the little whip sound just now when you did it. That's, yeah,
a Zorro.
that's the best part. All right, great. And then as you pointed out there, uniform?
The uniform is well protected.
Yeah.
We have a under.
It's protective gear,
It's
yeah.
a protective gear. It's under. We have a lemonade that's lemon that keep the force of hitting off,
Yeah.
and the mask, and all these are FIA approval.
Okay.
So you can't go somewhere to just buy.
Yeah.
You got to get the approval from FIA.
I do want to point out just one thing here, of course, because I'm sure that's what most people are looking at. There's no point to the sword itself, right? Yeah. That's right?
Right.
Okay. Just in
The-
case anybody was really worried about safety.
You have a tips, right?
Yeah. It has a tip on it?
You have a tips. Touch it.
But it's to register the.
Right.
Yeah.
You have a clock down
hit.
there
Yeah.
that the two competitors hook up on the clock, and who score first, it go off.
Okay. You have the clock over there as well.
Yeah.
All
We
right.
hope
great.
that we'll Could I get
All right.
them already?
Good job, guys. Let's see.
Please always respect.
All right.
That's on guard stance.
The wide.
Okay, but in foil, they have a different games to play. If you Google on the internet, you'll get the difference. Saber was done for riding. There was, when you were fighting, it was all high blows, no way down where the horse is, because it was not allowed to kill a horse. He's attacking and he's counter. That's Saber is like a flashy one. It's a high whoop like a Zoro, right? Epi is like the sword that it's a straight attack, it's a direct attack, it's a quick attack. It's like you call it like the beast attack. Like though you don't have to have no kind of technique, just you hit the target, high, low, bottom, then you can be score. And each of them have a tip.
Very good. He has a form like what you
Expect.
One location, then reverse his attack. There's three different swords. This is foil. Foil is like, it's for small people, but it's the most smartest sword. It's a sword that you got the right away, I take away the right away, you need to retreat back, right? So it's a game playing, right? And the attacking area for foil is only that part of the vest and part of the mask.
Oh, okay.
You can't hit no wells, the rest you get a card.
Yes, give him a sword. He ran away so fast.
Show the combat.
Go ahead.
go with the combat.
I need a protective gear.
They won't hurt you.
There's a reason why you
The
wear
clock would
gear.
set up, and those are wires hook up to the stop. Those are wire hook up to the sword, and it hook up to the clock, but we don't have the space,
Yeah.
right? The space have to be like 60 feet. They are not doing non-cooperation, they are not cooperating, so, you know, we're just getting a freestyle.
And as you pointed out earlier, this is a much smaller space than you would typically use,
Yeah,
right?
it's
Wow.
you have like a 60 feet.
Ready, set, flip. Up. Point against, 1-4. One more. Ready, set, flip. Point against, 1-4.
You do good with that. I can see you doing that.
One more. Ready, set, flip.
All right. Good.
And they give this, give the adults.
So who would be the winner in this now? There you go. Because he is the current junior champ, right?
Yeah, he is the champ.
He's shaking his head
I'm
like,
so shy. Okay, William, go ahead.
no. Yeah.
Epi is the one that a lot of people love because it shows the macho kind of in the fencing world.
We don't have much space because,
It's a small studio, yeah.
right? Ready, set, flip. Up. Point against, 1-4. Ready, set, flip.
Like I say, in Epi you can stick from the toe up to score
Okay,
point.
anywhere.
Anywhere you can stick.
Ready, set, flip. Up. Against, 1-4. Ready, set, flip. Point against, 1-4. Ready, set, flip. Up. Point against, 1-4. Ready, set, flip.
The window for attack is a short space. It's not a, you have a lot of time to attack. It's a short space to.
Point against, 1-4. Epic guys, epic. Ready, set, flip. Against, 1-4. Ready, set, flip. Ready, set, flip.
Want to give it a try?
He wants to, yes? All right,
Okay.
great.
Guys, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Give
And at this point, William is definitely going to try because we've convinced him. Which one will you hold? Will He wants to try. Go ahead. You can go with Coach.
Use my shield. Use my
I
shield.
have the mic on now.
Use my shield.
Show him how to hold it. Not by the sword itself, I'm sure.
Like this.
The mask lay on.
Like.
He needs a mask.
Then I can't see.
Yeah, natural put on a.
I know, right? He didn't even guess how to do it. Do I have to be the coach?
kind of scared.
I'll be the ref. So what am I supposed to say?
Like.
And then strike.
It's good,
You know,
but
you can move forward, right?
You need to
William?
move forward. Right. So say don't hit him. Right.
I feel.
All right. There you go.
So,
Okay. Once again, as we mentioned, Tino's Fencing Club. Thank you, guys. Tino's Fencing Club is in Belize City, second floor at the Old Set Building. If you're interested in learning more about fencing, you can definitely check them out. They're looking for new recruits, and as William just verified, he learned, I guess, how to hold the sword at least in a couple of minutes. But thank you all once again, and best of luck. We're going to go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, it's to talk about the latest film shot and produced in Belize. So stay tuned.